Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport today. And by this year's electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund. Buy your ticket today to support CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and a healthier environment and get 3 chances to win a brand new EV. And by Energy Sage. Time's running out in the US to get the benefit of federal tax incentives, so plan your energy independence today. Welcome back to another episode of TEN Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. I'm afraid today's show is packed with a lot of not so great news. But hey, my job's to report the news, not make it, so grab a beverage, put your feet up, and let's meet the bad news head on together. Last week, I told you the US EPA was planning to scrap the 2009 endangerment finding, the rule that says greenhouse gases harm human health. This week, the agency made it official, proposing to eliminate the finding and every regulation built around it. In a partisan press event, officials accused Presidents Obama and Biden of, quote, twisting the law and using, quote, warped science. The new EPA claims it'll save over $1 trillion in so-called hidden taxes, but data from the Energy Information Administration, part of the US Department of Energy, shows that rolling back emissions rules could raise gas prices by more than 76 US cents a gallon. Why? Because dirtier vehicles burn more fuel. The EPA isn't protecting anything now, just polluters' profits. EPA? That's the Enriching Polluters Association to you. I'm afraid we've got more bad news from the US. The US and the European Union have just announced a new 15% tariff on most EU exports to the US, including cars. This agreement came just hours after President Trump gave a rambling press conference full of lies about wind turbines and clean energy, something I debunked earlier this week on the channel. A link down below. While 15% is better than the 25% slapped on European imports in April, it's still 6 times higher than the 2.5% tariff before President Trump initiated his unpopular trade war. This, combined with no EV incentives from the end of September, means that we're unlikely to see a reversal of policies on behalf of many European automakers who have already either stopped or restricted EV imports to the US. If you've bought a vehicle with a warranty, you expect it to be honoured. That's just basic common sense. But if you are a customer of Lion Electric, forget it. This week, Deloitte Restructuring, the court-appointed firm running Lion Electric's affairs, told fleet operators, mostly schools, that their maintenance contracts have been handed to a company Deloitte plans to bankrupt. That means Lion Electric no longer feels responsible for service or warranty work, and customers are left high and dry. With such a niche market vehicle, good luck finding anyone else willing or able to fix them. It's a gut punch to operators who depend on these buses to keep kids safe, and a betrayal of every warranty promise. It's infuriating, unacceptable, and yet another dark cloud over the EV industry this week. The Chevrolet Bolt EV is, in my opinion, one of the best low-cost EVs of the last decade. And judging by how many folks complain about their shiny new EV they traded their Bolt in for at lease end, I think many of you agree. We've known for a while that GM plans to resurrect the Bolt later this year, promising next charging, better battery performance, and for the first time in a North American GM vehicle, a lithium iron phosphate battery pack, which should help lower the sticker price. This week, GM teased the very first photos of that new model, and I'm pleasantly surprised. It looks like much of the styling carries over from the short-lived Bolt EUV, with a similar front end, rear end, and the NACS inlet where the old CCS port was on the old Bolt EV and EUV. We'll know more in the coming months, so watch this space. When a new vehicle hits the market, automakers like to show how thoroughly it's been tested, helping customers gain confidence to place an order. This week, as part of its EV4 launch program, Kia published details of battery tests done in pre-production. The car was pushed through 10,000 kilometres, about 6,200 miles, at Germany's Nürburgring, operating at 90 to 95% of its rated power, followed by hypermiling tests on the same track. It then underwent a simulated 110,000 kilometre, around 68,000 miles, of rolling road tests. After all of that, Kia reported the battery still held 95% of its original capacity, well above the 70% minimum Kia guarantees over 100,000 miles or 160,000 kilometres. Of course, no amount of testing can cover every real-world scenario, so your mileage can and will vary. A new study from CDK Global, its EV ownership survey, shows that while many first-time EV owners worry their car will cost more to fuel and maintain than a gassed vehicle, that perception often changes after a few service visits. The survey highlighted some notable trends. Many EV owners now prefer mobile service over dealership visits, though EVs are taking longer on average to repair than they were a year ago. Still, most non-Tesla EV owners came away feeling positive. 53% say their cars are cheaper to run after a few visits. Only 41% of Tesla owners agree, though, hinting that Tesla's service costs might be a little too high. What do you think? Do you agree? Let us know in the comments, our Discord, or reach out to us on social media. Another survey now, this time from EV Intelligence, its latest self-driving and electric vehicles US market and analysis report, which offers some revealing insights. Polling both EV and non-EV owners, it found that many automakers have work to do on brand image. Toyota led with a view intensity score, that's positive opinions minus negative, of 20 despite limited EV offerings. Honda followed at 16, BMW and Chevrolet tied at 10, and Ford, Audi and Porsche at 9. Tesla came out last of 19 brands with negative 16. That's 15 points worse than VinFast, a brand most people have never even heard of. Views on Tesla, Elon Musk and Robotaxi plans were notably poor, and 46% of respondents said they would never ride in an autonomous vehicle, showing just how far there is to go to get the meat sacks out of the driver's seat. Ford published its second quarter earnings this week, beating Wall Street expectations with $50,180 million in revenue and adjusted earnings of 37 cents per share. Like GM last week, Ford took a hit from White House tariffs, losing $800 million alone. Its Model E division posted wider losses of $1.3 billion despite a 128% increase year over year in EV sales. Most losses were due to investment in its next-generation EV platform. CEO Jim Farley confirmed we'll learn more in 10 days, with a full reveal planned for August 11th in Kentucky. He called it a Model T moment for Ford's EV plans, promising an all-electric, all-American EV for everyone. Developed in a hush-hush skunkworks led by ex-Tesla and Apple engineers, this vehicle is meant to be a game-changer. Will it deliver? We'll find out soon enough. The US Energy Information Administration released its May electric power report, and the numbers are encouraging for renewables. Wind power made up 12.2% of electricity generated in the first 5 months of the year, up from last year. But solar led the way, with utility-scale solar installations growing by a third year over year, plus small-scale solar up nearly 9%. For the first time, combined utility and small solar outproduced wind, generating almost 38,965 gigawatt hours of power. Overall, nearly 30% of May's electricity came from renewables. Fossil fuels' time is clearly running out, even if some in power don't want to admit it. The US Government Accountability Office has published its long-awaited report evaluating the US national EV charging rollout under the NEVI and CFI program. Commissioned before the last presidential election and based on data from January, before the current White House took office, the report outlined serious flaws. It found rollouts were far slower than promised, tracking was inconsistent, and there was widespread frustration between state and federal agencies and stakeholders. But instead of fixing the problems, the new administration has slammed on the brakes, suspending state plans, halting federal guidance, and freezing progress. The report details a mismanaged rollout under a pro-EV White House, now facing outright sabotage from a cruel dictator wannabe who's not hidden his disdain for EVs and who is allegedly backed by $1 billion in fossil fuel donations. I'll have more stories in a moment, but first a quick ad from our friends at CCAN Action Fund. And unlike most ads, this is one you will want to watch because it's offering you the chance to drive off in a brand new EV while supporting an amazing non-profit that's working for a cleaner environment. This year, the electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund is its best yet because every ticket gives you 3 chances to win an amazing EV, letting you transition to a cleaner future. The grand prize winner gets to pick from one of 6 luxury new EVs: the rugged Rivian R1S SUV, the powerful Rivian R1T pickup, a brand new Lucid Gravity SUV, ultra-efficient Lucid Air sedan, sought-after Porsche Macan EV, or the iconic Porsche Taycan, while second-place winners will be given the choice between the Hyundai Ioniq 5 or our recent favourite, the Volkswagen ID Buzz. And for the first time, there's also a third-place EV winner, the highly popular Chevy Equinox EV. Only 10,000 tickets will be sold, and tickets are just $200 and support the CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and healthier environment. Even better, the group covers state and federal taxes. As for tariffs, no problem, because they are covered too. Head over to www.evraffle.org to grab your ticket. That's evraffle.org, or check the show notes or on-screen QR code to win the EV of your dreams. We're off to recall reminders now, and as always, you'll find the show notes below with further details linked to our website, transportevolved.com. Genesis has recalled just under 5,000 vehicles, including some GV60 models, to address a software issue that can lead to a blank instrument panel. An OTA software update is incoming. 136 BMW EV models, including i4, i7 and iX variants, have been recalled due to incorrectly constructed traction battery packs. Affected vehicles will get replacement modules. 10 examples of the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 have been recalled to fix an incorrectly tightened battery bus bar, which could potentially cause a battery pack fire. Hyundai will notify affected owners by late September. Those are your recall reminders, and now it's time for our new and improved news shorts. And remember, you'll find links below to all of the stories in the show notes and on our website. DHL and Ford confirmed this week that 2,400 more Ford e-Transit and e-Transit custom vans have been delivered to DHL's fleet in Germany, bringing the total Ford EV fleet to 4,900. BMW's iVentures investment arm has co-led an $11 million seed round with Fortescue Ventures into Estes Energy Solutions, Inc., a company focused on chemistry-agnostic battery pack design. Chinese brand FAW has launched the Pony EV, a tiny city car with an 18.11 kilowatt-hour battery pack and massive personality. It's priced at just under $5,000 equivalent. According to JD Power, the average new car loan payment during July has totaled around $742 for a mid-price, mid-spec car, up 1.6% from this time last year. The FIA has confirmed that Formula E, the worldwide race series for electric single-seaters, will remain the only FIA-approved single-seat EV race series through until at least 2048. I think that's a shame. Porsche, in collaboration with Austrian boat builder Fauschner, helped set a new record for day cruisers at the Monaco Energy Boat Challenge. Their jointly built 850 Phantom reached just under 50 knots. The Leapmotor B01 EV sedan has launched in China, priced from around $12,500 equivalent for the base model up to $16,700 for the range-topping variant. Chinese battery specialist CATL has confirmed that it's deployed more than 400 of its planned 1,000 battery swap stations in China. It says it is on track to achieve its goal by year's end. A team of engineers at TU Graz in Austria has developed an innovative new battery housing for EVs that combines wood and steel. In fire protection tests, it outperformed a Tesla battery pack case. Athens, Greece is working to replace its trolleybuses with electric buses as part of a major fleet renewal. But while electric buses are good, I kind of wish the trolleybuses could stay. Cadillac has confirmed that while it will remove Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility from its North American market vehicles, it will continue to offer the feature in some of its overseas markets. The German government has begun to create a new legal framework for the operation of remote-controlled or tele-driven vehicles on public roads. It will begin with a 5-year trial phase in key cities. Rumours are flying after a Xiaomi SU7 Ultra was spotted driving out of Ferrari's headquarters in Italy. The hypercar has been making waves for its surprisingly low price and incredible performance. Honda has teased a brand new electric motorcycle on Instagram this week. Due to get its official reveal on September 2nd, the shots shared hint at an all-electric naked bike. I can't wait. US firm Peak Energy has celebrated delivering its first grid-scale sodium-ion battery storage system to a customer in the US. Its sodium-ion batteries feature a special passive cooling system to prolong its life. Toyota is readying a new 3-row all-electric Highlander EV for launch as soon as next year. According to reporting from Automotive News, the new model will be built in the US alongside an even larger electric SUV. Aftermarket EV specialists EV Sportline have launched a new front bumper for the Rivian R1T and R1S, complete with a mount point to allow owners to install a front tow winch for off-road adventures. Leapmotor has opened the European order books for the B10, a C-segment SUV with seating for 5, a choice of 2 different battery packs and a starting price of just under €30,000. Amid a sea of anti-EV policies from the US government, Volkswagen-owned Cupra has officially delayed its planned US launch, now targeting a debut sometime after 2030. Nikkei Asia reported this week that Toyota will begin building European market EVs at a Czech facility as early as 2028, with plans to produce up to 100,000 vehicles there per year. EVgo has announced a new line of credit worth $225 million, with an option to increase to $300 million to help expand its EV charging network across the US. One of its rivals, ChargePoint, has launched a new service called Safeguard Care, a subscription-based maintenance and monitoring program designed to help customers maximize charger uptime. The state of California has helped San Francisco obtain an additional $5 million to help it install new EV charging infrastructure in the city. It will fund 403 new stations. According to Auto Express, Chinese-owned MG Motor is developing a new EV model for launch in Europe. Based on the same platform as the MG4, it will be a fully electric C-segment SUV. CATL, working with a local tourist vessel company in China, has celebrated the official commissioning of its first electric tourist vessel, fitted with a 3,918 kilowatt-hour battery pack. UK telecoms company Openreach has just celebrated welcoming its 5,000th electric vehicle to its fleet. The telecommunications infrastructure company has the second largest van fleet in the UK. Mercedes-Benz has teased an image of a new EV it will be launching at IAA Mobility in September. The GLC with EQ technology will go on sale globally, and that includes the US. The UK government is launching a new £25 million fund to help local authorities install pavement channels, enabling EV owners to charge street-side without creating trip hazards for pedestrians. The UK's new electric car grant programme aims to help customers get behind the wheel of an EV, but many companies are now finding themselves ineligible and are introducing their own incentives to match ECG grants. This includes some cars made by Stellantis, which are manufactured in Poland and, on paper, do not meet the emissions requirements outlined in the programme. The Chinese government has issued new rules adjusting the nation's ultra-luxury passenger vehicle tax. It has lowered the threshold, meaning some luxury EVs made outside of China will now face heavy taxes. Autonomous taxi company WeRide has just received a new permit to operate in Saudi Arabia. It plans to launch a full-scale Robotaxi service in partnership with Uber across the kingdom by the end of the year. Meanwhile, Uber's rival, Lyft, in collaboration with Benteler Mobility, has announced a new autonomous shuttle service across the Lyft network, with services due to start operating by the end of 2026. UK charging provider InstaVolt has announced that it's about to start work on a new 30-station ultra-rapid charging superhub on the A303 in Wiltshire. That will make trips to Stonehenge a whole lot easier. Rivian has begun to swap its Rivian Adventure Network charging stations over from CCS1 to NACS. The first locations are already in operation, with more to follow. A team of researchers at TU Graz in Germany have developed a new solution that allows charging stations to communicate in a swarm. This helps manage local grid demand and EV charging needs more efficiently. Chinese company Verizon Auto has launched a new camper van in China. Called the X-Van, it's designed to let owners enjoy the outdoors while still having some of the creature comforts of home. Vertical Aerospace has been celebrating this week after completing the world's first airport-to-airport by a full-scale piloted winged tilt-rotor eVTOL designed for commercial service. The flight took place between the Cotswold Airport and RAF Fairford. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are coming up next, but first, a quick word from one of today's sponsors, Energy Sage, who can help those of you in the US green your heating and energy. Energy Sage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help guide you through installing solar panels or getting a heat pump installed. Not a homeowner? Don't worry, Energy Sage can still help you green your electricity by helping you join a community solar program. We used Energy Sage ourselves when looking for installers willing to put solar panels on our roof, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and even introduced us to a great union that allowed us to finance the project with low monthly payments. As I'm sure many of you now know, HR1 is now US law, and all incentives for solar, including savings of as much as 30% through the federal tax credit program, are going to disappear soon. Solar projects take time, so if you want to lock in those savings, it's important to act now because time is running out. Follow the links below to sign up for Energy Sage's free, no-obligation service and get the ball rolling today. And if you choose to use an Energy Sage installer, we will also receive a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. Help the grid get greener, save money, gain energy independence, and support the channel? It's a win-win-win-win. And now it's time for those last two stories. We usually talk EVs, but this week, US and Canadian safety bodies got together to hold a press conference exposing a harsh truth. US road deaths are climbing, not falling. From 2011 to 2021, road fatalities in the US jumped by a third. Among 29 wealthy countries, the US leads with more than double the crash death rate per person. It's easy to blame SUVs and pickups for this, and they do play a massive role in pedestrian deaths, thanks to their ridiculous hood heights and poor visibility. But Canada, with a similar mix of vehicles, cut its fatalities by 18% over the same period. Distracted driving, especially from people misusing semi-autonomous technology and treating those vehicles like they have full self-driving, will only make it worse. But having taken driving tests in both the US and Europe, I can say driver education and enforcement in the US are embarrassingly weak. If things don't change, more Americans will die on the nation's roads, and that is terrible. Things should be safer, not deadlier. And finally, it's no secret that Kate, I, and the whole TE crew are more than a little fed up with the wave of oversized, overpriced EVs flooding North America. Vi, our DP, loves K-trucks and used to drive a Fiat 500. Kate used to have a Mitsubishi i-MiEV and briefly owned the flux capacitor before it was famous. Personally, I've had not one, but 3 all-electric microcars. So when Honda unveiled its new N1E in Japan this week, I definitely squeed. It's a 4-seat electric K car with folding magic seats like the old Fit Jazz, a minimalist interior, vehicle to load, one-pedal driving, and crucially, no need to prove that you have a parking space to own it in Japanese cities. This is exactly the kind of city EV we need, not another rolling monument to excess. And honestly, I wish I lived in a timeline where vehicles and tech like this were celebrated, not mocked. And on that note, we are done for today. A massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. The EVA has been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and remains firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. Join the EVA today to find out how to become an EV educator. Meet like-minded fans at meetups and get help to make your own transition to electric. Help that includes a low-interest loan program to help finance your next EV step. Find out more at myeva.org. Thanks also go to CCAN Action Fund. Buy your tickets today at evraffle.org and be quick, only 10,000 tickets are being sold. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the links below to plan your own energy independent future before those tax credits vanish. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so for just $1.50 a month on Patreon. And if you can, we would all really appreciate it. YouTube is now putting upwards of 15 ads in our videos and keeping most of the profits for itself. Our ad revenue is now officially less than 1/8 of what it was just a few years back. And while we are certainly not alone, other creators are similarly struggling at the altar of corporate greed. If we can't increase our Patreon support, we are frankly done for. But if just 400 of our 152,000 supporters who've not yet signed up to Patreon did so and committed to the equivalent of giving a fancy coffee a month to the cause, that would put us in a much better financial position. I should also note that we are available for third-party video production work in the greater Portland, Oregon area, so if you have a business or a project you'd like help with for video purposes, reach out. You'll also find merch at our swag store and Amazon store affiliate links in the video description or on our website so that you can use them to support TE when you have to worship at the altar of Bezos. We don't like using Amazon, but without affiliate links, Amazon pockets the money it would otherwise send to affiliate link folk, i.e. us. We publish every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday on this channel, and every Sunday we drop 2 videos on Transport Evolved Take 2, which is more of an informal behind-the-scenes channel. Much more gardening and chickens. To finish, remember this. You are valid, you are loved, and you belong, no matter what anyone says, and no corporate policy changes, LinkedIn, or discriminatory rules change that. Right now, division and hate aren't just tolerated, they are encouraged by those in power, driven by a lust for cruelty to others. In these times, kindness and empathy become acts of resistance. Empathy is not a weakness, it is a skill that we must nurture and regularly practice to hold on to our shared humanity. And if you need to rest or step back, that is also okay. Take a break. take care of yourself. Then, when you're ready, stand up for decency, community and justice, peacefully and together. Build connections that celebrate every voice, embrace diversity and learn from the past to shape a better future. Wherever you are, whoever you love, you are not alone. Be an ally, be kind, be the positive change you want to see in the world. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance win. As always, keep evolving.